A very good evening from Playa Blanca here in southern Lanzarote. We've got some very interesting weather taking place at the moment. We've got a Calima wind event, and we are also seeing large quantities of Saharan dust within the air. Now, we have seen that in the last 3 days. In fact, kind of the day starts off nice and sunny, and then as the day progresses, we'll see the sky is starting to kind of haze over, and you've got that kind of yellow, orange kind of complexion to the air, and it's simply the winds coming from an east to southeast direction off the Sahara, and traveling across the relatively short 80-mile gap between the Eastern Canaries and Africa here. So thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for Monday the 17th of January. And I wanted to show you a tweet that I put out. This was yesterday, so you can see here, this is a picture that I took from the room off the balcony yesterday morning, and beautiful clear skies overlooking the mountains in the southeastern corner of the island here. But as the afternoon progressed, we've seen skies become much, much more closed in. A kind of weird, actually quite a weird kind of, feeling in the air actually, as the skies start to turn that kind of yellow, hazy, almost looked as if it was going to just bucket of rain. But in fact, it's the Saharan dust kind of blowing across the this portion of the islands. Now, in fact, we had a heavy rain day today, and that has led to basically just an indoor thing. It wasn't going to be sitting by the pool, that's for sure, and actually feeling quite chilly. One thing I would note is the wind has been very persistent and quite strong out of the east southeast, and today, rainy day, less in the way of wind actually. But the problem has been that with the low visibility, we've seen flights coming inbound from the UK, from Spain, even from Finland, being rerouted from Lanzarote more towards Gran Canaria, because we've had the very reduced visibility. It's also produced pretty poor air quality. So my partner actually does have asthma, and I've noticed that she's been a little bit more wheezy and a little bit more congested, and I think that's simply down to the dust particles in the air due to this Saharan dust outbreak here. So quite interesting, actually, I must admit. And it is causing some issues. That's a satellite image that a screenshot with the sand blowing off Africa and into the Canary Islands. So quite a significant event, that's for sure, here in Lanzarote and surrounding islands as well. Just wanted to show you that actually for your interest here. This is actually the situation at the moment here. Notice here actually off Africa and through the Canaries, we've got high pressure nearby, but the winds are continuing to come in from the east-southeasterly direction. We also do have an area of low pressure to the west of the archipelago here, and it's bringing the rain and the fairly gusty winds as well. I do think conditions are set to improve over the next couple of days, but like I said, it's certainly not been a great day for the pool, that's for sure here. Let's have a look at the weather now across the UK. Now, of course, we do have modestly chilly conditions, high pressure in control, of course, and this is off the ECMWF. Now, we still have the models indicating the high kind of waxing and waning somewhat, and it does kind of open the door to some shots of cold air from the north here. But all in all, there is very little change in the overall outlook. We are going to see these kind of shots, intrusions of Arctic air. So, of course, this is the ECMWF. This is the 850 millibar temperature chart. The reason why I'm showing the ECMWF as opposed to the GFS is because the GFS does have a tendency to be biased towards cold, and we simply didn't see that, a few weeks back. So I'm a little bit reluctant to show the GFS for the simple fact that I don't want to get carried away. I don't want to start kind of bringing some sort of false hope that we're all of a sudden going to start to see winter coming back. At this moment in time, folks, I still stand by the idea that we're going to get a short, sharp burst of cold at times. But overall, I'm still not seeing anything in terms of shutting down the westerlies here and seeing any dramatic change in the overall setup here. But as we play through the loop, you can see here, of course, the milder air generally associated with the high, and then, of course, we start to see these little shots of colder air coming down from the north. Then the high comes back in once again. But notice here, it's slightly to the west of the UK. The problem that I've got is that with the area of high pressure being fairly small, it allows mild air from the Atlantic to kind of rotate around that area of high pressure and pull in milder conditions as opposed to cold. But notice here, even Thursday, 20th of January, you notice here that the UK is basically on the border. High pressure centered just to the west of the UK and Ireland here. But notice here we've got some fairly cold air at the 5,000 foot level, kind of over the British Isles here. The milder air to the west, as you can see, and of course with low pressure over southern Finland, high pressure just to the west of Ireland. Of course, we've got that direct discharge of polar air coming into Europe here. So certainly we are going to see cold coming into Europe, and the UK is going to be in the periphery of that cold air. And as I continue to play through the loop, you can see here that we have more chilly shots coming in from the north here. And there is reason to be slightly optimistic that as we push towards the latter half of the month, we may try to kind of pull something in from the east here. The ECMWF is seeing that. The GFS is also seeing that, even in the ensembles as well. We're just going to have to watch this space, if you will, as we go forward generally. Of course, we've got the stratospheric situation not really changing an awful lot. If we play through the loop, these are the zonal winds over the pole, representing at 10 HPA, and you can see here that there is very little change in the overall theme. The polar vortex remains fairly strong. The winds surrounding that vortex remains very strong indeed. So, based on this alone, this is off the GFS, by the way. Based on this, it looks as if there's not a great deal of change with regards to the any kind of breakdown of the vortex as we go towards the end of January and beginning of February. That being said, of course, we've had the eruption of the underwater volcano of Tonga, and of course that was a very major event indeed, and very interesting from a scientific point of view. I do believe it had enough energy released from that to enter the stratosphere, and what is going to be quite interesting to see as we go forward would be, does it have any type of effect on triggering something such as a sudden stratospheric warming? Now, these events do take place, and they do have some, relatively short-lived effects on the Earth's climate here. And is the question that I'm asking is it going to be one of those events that has some sort of an effect on the latter winter and into the springtime as we go forward here? Essentially, what I'm saying is that has the release of the energy and of course the ash cloud entered the stratosphere, and could that perhaps downstream bring on a sudden stratospheric warming? Because we do know that things like that can happen, and it's going to be something that may be worth taking into account as we go towards the end of January, beginning of February here. So I think maybe it might be worth our while having a look at the stratospheric situation as we go towards the end of the month, based on the fact that we had that event in the Pacific island of Tonga here. So that is certainly something worth maybe having a look at as we go forward. But that's it for today. Hope you have a great one, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.